Well, hello, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Friday in the Riv. And hey, guys, Gene, James, Jeff, we're all well. We got a lot to talk about today, and
We have nothing to talk about. It's not like anything happens in Fall River.
you know,
Potholes, no, snow removal.
yeah. Well, we'll start with that peripheral stuff. We'll get a few more people in because I don't want them to miss that video that we were. It was Nelson
From the school
provided
committee
us.
meeting.
Uh, but yeah, the potholes are out. I mean, look, the snow's still terrible. On my street, you can barely get one car. There's one at the top of the street. We had the giant wall. There's only enough width for about one car. When there's on the other side, the thing sticks out 2 feet from the giant snow banks that are already on the hydrant side all the way up the street. It's a travesty. But the potholes, I counted about 100 potholes on Easton Avenue between County and Martine Street. Father DeValley's at Red's Dairy, Martine Street.
Right.
It's incredible. Some of them are small. There's spots where there are 4 or 5 in a row. And some are about 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide, and 1 foot deep. It's a horror show out there. It's an absolute horror show.
You think?
And Eastern Avenue was bad to begin with, but now it's like a war zone out there. And there's barely 2 lanes. Some places it's like a lane and 3/4. You can barely squeeze in. You have to kind of hang back. And then you can't negotiate the potholes. You have to drive like it's nuts. And I understand it comes with the weather, but they've got to do something.
Well, from what some of the reporting I've seen from problem people, the ones that complain the most.
Yeah.
Shut up, CJ. They're filling it with gravel. They're not using coal patch. They're filling it with gravel. So,
that's really
if you
good.
drive over, it's just going to rip out into the street.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're putting gravel. That's really good. I mean, that'll last about 22 minutes in there.
Right.
It's absolutely crazy, and I don't know, but if you go down to Bedford and Easton Avenue, and you're traveling. Okay. I don't know what any drug and gun charges? Not sure. No. I haven't heard. I don't know if CJ's heard about it, but
I saw the posting from the Florida Police Department.
Oh yeah, so you go on there. You do. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I don't. Yeah. Well, at least we got a little information, and yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, what a surprise! Drugs and guns in Fall River.
Again.
everything's wonderful, but we're going to talk about what happened at that school committee, that fiasco with Curly. But before we do, and we got some really good video and some comments and also something that CJ got in from someone to talk about. But let's talk about one political body interfering on another political body, because this is the team, the rah-rah. Hey, Hilltop, as everybody pile on. Oh, you gotta keep her, and even if she's an incompetent, because she was born in Fall River, she went to Durfee, she played whatever, blah blah blah. Which is bull. We know that. But now, suppose it is alleged, and I'm going to put alleged, that City Councilor Linda Pereira.
It's not alleged. I've got a copy of the resolution.
All right. Well, I mean, it could be Reddit, but we'll look. Okay, that she is CJ's got a copy of a supposed.
Came directly from the city clerk.
Okay, well, in that case, we can say that she did. She wants to put in a resolution for the city council to weigh in on Superintendent Curley, and I guess in her favor. Let me explain something to Councilor Pereira. How would she feel if the school committee stuck their nose in city council business? Those people are elected officials. What's going on in the school department and the school committee? The school committee is supposedly abiding within their rules. They have the ability to make the motion they made. It was a legal motion. There's a lot of controversy over it. But let me explain something to Linda. Next time they do something in the city council that the school committee doesn't want, the school committee shouldn't have she has every right to her own personal opinion, as does anybody involved. She has absolute right to her own personal opinion, but it's her personal opinion. And we're going to get to that when we show this video. You cannot have a political body endorsing somebody when there's a controversy with other elected officials. That has to have due process within that particular thing. They have the right to. That is so unethical. It is so typically Linda that you want to go there to the school committee meeting and get up at a mic and say that, oh, she's a hilltopper, she's this, she's that. You know, I love Paul, I love Tracy, I love everybody that's in this administration. That's fine.
Okay.
You don't make a city, you don't have a city council, put those people in there where they're weighing in on something that we haven't even got all the facts on yet, and that is part of their jurisdiction. So go ahead, CJ.
Okay. This was filed by Linda Pereira on March 5th, 2026. Whereas there have been ongoing discussions regarding the school committee's intention to terminate the employment of Superintendent Tracy Curley, PhD, of Fall River Public Schools without cause, and whereas the Fall River Educators Association has recently gone on record to oppose to the superintendent's termination. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council formally oppose the termination of the superintendent of Fall River Public Schools and encourage the school committee to allow for her continued tenure to benefit the well-being of the students, parents, and teachers.
What a disingenuous, obsequious resolution. Okay, let me tell you something. The city councils should not be going on record. They do not have hiring and firing jurisdiction over there. It's not within their purview. They are elected to deal with the citizens of Fall River and our tax rate and the city side of government. Keep the city council as a council out of this. That is so unethical. It is so out of bounds that it's in. Only in Fall River could somebody come up with something that ridiculous. The city council now is going to stick their nose in the school department's business.
And here will be Linda's argument. Well, when the issue was about Matt Malone, we made it known. People made it known individually as their opinion.
Yeah, Matt Malone was accused
and opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink.
Listen, that's apples and oranges anyway, but you're right. It was their personal opinion. But Matt Malone was accused of serious breaches of the law.
Of the law, that's right.
Of the law. Harassment of female employees, ignoring the American with Disabilities Act and Age Discrimination Acts. They have a right to comment. But they had no jurisdiction over that thing either. So they could go on record as saying that behavior by any employee, school department, or city side will not be tolerated. They could make a general statement. This is a personnel matter.
That's right.
This is a personnel matter.
How many times have we heard that?
That does not belong. The city council does not belong weighing in on personnel matter. I don't care how you personally feel about that personnel matter. If you're that upset, get your ass down to the school committee meeting and go up to a microphone and
voice your opinion.
Your bitch.
That's right.
But you know why? Oh, everybody's against this. Everybody? Well, not too many people were against it, and it wasn't from Spindle City Straight Talk. CJ, run the video. Everybody listen to this very carefully.
So good evening. My name is Joey Ford. I'm from Attleboro. I'm the founder and leader of Parent Data Force, an independent educational watchdog and reform initiative focused on systemic noncompliance, transparency, and accountability. I help families, staff, and community members document concerns, organize evidence, and navigate the proper channels when a district's internal processes are no longer working. I'm not here for politics, and I'm not here to inflame anything. I come when I start hearing the same message from multiple people who don't even know each other. That the climate has become so tense, people feel that they can't speak openly without consequences. That is what I've been hearing about Fall River. There are over 850 teachers in the Fall River, and only an insignificant minority have chosen to come here tonight. Over the past several days, multiple people connected to this district have reached out to me privately, parents, staff, and community members. A consistent theme is fear. Fear of retaliation, fear of being targeted, fear of professional consequences. Regardless of anyone's position on leadership, a public school system should never become a place where people feel unsafe telling the truth. Now, I want to address one specific concern that brought me here tonight. I've seen advocacy materials connected to the superintendent situation that appear to use the district's official logo. I'm being careful. I'm not making a legal accusation tonight, but this is inappropriate on its face and raises serious ethical questions. When the public sees the official logo, it looks like the district is endorsing a message. Public symbols shouldn't be used in ways that undermine trust. And let me say this plainly. It is very inappropriate for a teachers' union to endorse a superintendent at all. Regardless of personal feelings, that's a conflict of interest. A union's role is to advocate for teachers, not campaign for district leadership. And from what I'm hearing, the silent majority does not support the union's position here. They are just scared to say it. I'm not going through every issue tonight. That would be irresponsible without full documentation. But if people are reaching out to outsiders because they feel that they can't speak inside the district, something is wrong. Parent Data Force helps people document and route concerns, whether through internal processes, public records, or state complaints. The goal is accountability, not drama. If you have information but feel you can't speak publicly or have evidence, you can find Parent Data Force on Facebook. Message me privately. This also includes any and all special education concerns. This is my first time here, but I will be back, and I'll follow the record where it leads. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Did
You know that Paul cut him off before he was even done?
Yeah, Paul couldn't get rid of him fast, but did you hear
right.
what he just said? They're sending it out. And now Linda wants to piggyback on that. They're sending stuff out with logos saying that the administration supports their own position. Well, they're the ones who supported her. Of course they're going to support that position. But that is unethical. It's implying that everybody in the school department, as he said, a very small percentage of the teachers were there. A lot of teachers are in favor of this.
From the Sylvia School.
The bottom line is
the most to hide. The school that has the most to hide.
Yep.
They were there.
Well, the bottom line is there's about 800 or 900 teachers. There were a handful there, and he's right.
That's right.
People are petrified. This is like Nazi Germany. They're always talking about Trump the dictator, Coogan the dictator. I know personally of certain circumstances where they threatened people, bullied, badgered people. Hello, Adeline. But he was 100% right. Now Linda wants to put another political body on record supporting another political body. That's not the majority. Linda, you were elected to be a city councilor. You want to stick your nose in the school committee business, run for school committee.
That's right.
But remember, I'm going to warn you before you do. If you do run to school committee and get elected, you may have limp lettuce if you bring a sandwich. Okay? I know how upsetting that is to your family.
Yes.
So, but to get back on a note without that, what he said is 100% correct. People are in fear. We have a Gestapo here. The Democrats love to use that, Gestapo. I know that Paul Coogan threatened somebody with, they were going to charge them with kidnapping. Oh, we'll bring this charge against you. They love to bring charges. His brother brought charges against somebody in a union that he didn't like, even though they were groundless. Paul does that all the time. People are petrified in this city. People in unions, they're afraid. Paul bought the union presidents. He gave one guy a $40,000 pay raise. You think that union's going to fight for you? He buys everybody off. You're either in his camp, like he said, you're going to be on a team. If you're on a team, everybody cheers. You can't send a letter on school department stationery or something endorsing somebody. That was an appointment made by the school committee. And as Gene so aptly put it in an earlier post, we've got a few since then, Paul Coogan came back to Fall River. Bought a little Bobby townhouse so he could run for the school committee. Why? Has everybody forgotten? To get rid of Meg Mayo Brown. Because she would not make him a principal. He hated her. And he was told, Paul, if you come back, all these kids that you high-five, they'll all vote for you. And we can get rid of your arch enemy, Meg Mayo Brown. They did exactly that new school committee, as Gene said, they did exactly what they're doing now. You got a new school committee, they have a different opinion, and they're exercising their right as elected officials under the contract, which says they can terminate without cause or for cause, either 1, 4 votes, 5 votes. But what they're doing is within their purview as elected officials. Keep your nose out of it, Linda, and anybody in that city council that supports that should have an ethics violation filed against them, because this city is locked down by the Coogan Mafia.
You're right, Jeff.
Coogan
And
crime family.
All the citizens' input that was submitted in writing that was not read into the school committee were letters asking for the termination of Tracy Curley. So Paul violated the law. He violated a court order, and he violated their civil rights. But the law doesn't apply to Paul, so remember that.
That's right. So all the negative stuff was cut out. He also violated the law and parliamentary procedure when he adjourned the meeting.
Right.
Because you had Colin Dyers and Kevin Aguiar still talking to the lawyers. Fundamentally, an executive session. He reinstituted the regular session of the meeting and adjourned the meeting, which you can't, because you got 2 members in executive session. You denied them their right to vote against the motion to adjourn. And number one, they should have never voted for the motion to adjourn. Well, Adeline, I'm glad you brought that up. CJ, you want to read the letter? Now we're going to talk about the environment.
I have it here.
There we go.
My son is at the Green Elementary School. This is regarding Principal Dunn and how she treats the kids. My son has been coming home crying, telling me that Dr. Dunn's mean and always yelling at the students, ignoring them when saying hi. And when I tried to find out what's happening, no one answers me or gets back to me. Also, my son has come to me scared because students are being physical with the teachers, and he is scared that he will be hit as well. He's seen chairs being thrown at the teachers, kids running and screaming and swearing up and down the hallways, banging on the lockers. Staff doesn't seem to say which is making it difficult for the kids to form a connection with teachers and teachers' aides. It is very disruptive to constantly have new people in a classroom environment. And it's extremely disruptive to the kids' learning, as well as making it difficult for the kids and for parents. It is alarming. The parents are not being informed, and it is confusing as to who we're supposed to reach out to. It sounds like a zoo over there. All of my inquiries into these situations have been unanswered. Just curious on what you can do. Then, I haven't told you about this one. Then we got this one. Apparently, Durfee High School doesn't always alert parents or the public when one of the staff members gets fired on the spot for assaulting a student and being overly aggressive. No child should ever have to deal with this, especially at school, by a staff member. As a parent, I'd like to know. Now, say this person goes to another district, town, city, or even babysitting for someone or agency. Incidents like these are serious. So, as they should have absolutely been a record, something giving parents or guardians knowledge of this. The Fall River School Department needs to investigate this and expose these people for the protection of all of our children. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, there you go. And as James said, well, James, we ran 3 or 4 different videos of fights a year or two ago. They were sending us videos from the school with some really aggressive
Video.
fighting, and they were a lot, and it was, we showed it, and yeah, they're talking about teachers. We don't know anything about anything. This city is totally out of control. Out of control because the Coogan crime family is in charge. I mean, you can't, people are petrified. And CJ and I get calls all the time from people in city departments and in school departments who say, I'm afraid to open my mouth because there will be retaliation. I will be fired. I will be discriminated against. I will be this. I will be that. Yeah,
no, Boomer, that is a practice that's going on across the country.
Yeah.
Okay? The kids cannot control themselves with their phones. And they have them on playing games, texting friends, etc., during class time. It is diverting them from education. I have been a huge supporter of taking phones away from kids at the door. Maybe if they were more responsible, you wouldn't have a problem.
No, they never want to discuss anything because Paul just, as we said, as CJ just said, there were numerous letters that wanted the superintendent removed, and not one. And thank you, Nelson, for that video. That was a great video. I had already discussed that presentation with somebody, but I hadn't seen it live yet. And yeah, I mean, he hit the nail right on the head. He's getting calls in Attleboro, and people are petrified. And you're not going to. I mean, look at it. I mean, when have you ever seen government agencies putting out stuff on stationery supporting one of their political appointees? And Gene made a great point earlier. Coogan came back to do exactly what he's now trying to stop because it's one of his appointees. He got rid of Meg Mayo Brown. That was the beginning of his political career, solely to come back. And look at what we've degenerated to. We had Mike Coogan negotiating the contract. Tom Coogan on the city side and the mayor giving them the money for the contract. The whole Coogan family. Talk about a breach of ethics. Look at what's happened. We've got assaults, teachers doing things that are inappropriate. We don't hear about anything except secondhand. People are petrified. I know personally of a union official that was brought up on phony charges strictly to force them out because they wanted to do the job. They do not want anybody there who can interfere with North Korea, because it is like, and that video was a great video. I mean, he hit it right on the head. People are afraid. They're not going to get up in front of them, Mike, now. And who's there? All the people with political connections, all the people, and all the letters that were, you probably had as many letters against their position and for her termination, but Paul doesn't even read them. I love it when all these Democrats talk about Trump. This makes Trump look like a Boy Scout. We get nothing in this city. Coogan just violates the law every time there's a meeting. Well, he can't adjourn that meeting. You had two people in there talking to lawyers, and now he said, so they're starting a rumor Colin left. Bullshit. They weren't there when they adjourned that meeting. You can't be in executive session and be in open session, public session, simultaneously. It's against the law.
The law doesn't apply to Paul. You know that.
You have to adjourn the meeting, and you have to read. A statement before you go into executive session. As a matter of fact, CJ, take it away. I just read it this morning because I was chairing the retirement board meeting when we went to executive session. I'm going to grab it right now, so take over.
Are you talking the open meeting law thing? That this meeting can be videotaped and all that? It's very interesting. One of the things that's a problem is the teachers are constrained. They can't discipline the students. They can't fail the students. They can't suspend the students. They can't send them home.
All right.
And when you call the parents in, the parents are, F you, it's not my kid. My kid isn't a problem. Look at how you're acting. That's where your kid's getting it from. Okay?
Right,
You've got a brand new high school. A brand new high school. It's already damaged. Graffiti. Burning. Broken area. Students going in parts of the building they're not supposed to be in. And what do they say? F you!
Well, okay, let's give Paul a little lesson in parliamentary procedure. I know he reads probably the first one. They read it at the city council meeting all the time. Okay, so this is what you're supposed to do when you have a public meeting in the government. This is what you read first. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Okay, so that's when you go to the open meeting. So you can tape stuff. You can bring your phone there and tape everything. Now, when you're going to go into executive session, you're going to talk about HEPA violations, personnel issues. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to read. I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session pursuant to, listen to this, Paul, not my opinion. I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Sub 3, to discuss litigation strategy as it may have a detrimental effect on litigating positions of public bodies, to meet in an open session or any other HEPA violations, etc. You have to go into executive session, and you have to adjourn from executive session and go back into a public meeting if you go there. You can't leave half the freaking school committee in executive session and then so you can get out of town. And that's what you did. That's what you did. That last guy that presented, you wanted to get out of it. You couldn't get rid of him fast enough. Okay, goodbye. See you later. Get out of here. You made a point that didn't want anybody to hear. So I'm going to leave 2 people. That meeting's illegal. And I hope Patrick's watching this and files a complaint and they get ordered to have another meeting. No, you're right, James. We've been bitching about that since it started. Now they're going to ask us for a debt exclusion or something, or they're going to hit us with a bill, then ask us if we have to pay the bill. Remember, Westport voted on it. Did we get the vote? The city council pulled a Coogan. Oh, now Linda wants to stick her nose over in the school department too. These people don't give a shit about the law. They're sending stuff out. Now she wants another political body to get into the affairs of another elected body. Do you really think that the Congress of the United States would allow the senators to come over and run their meeting? Yeah. Well, yeah, but your written input wasn't read, Nelson. Yeah, that's the problem. Paul doesn't read anything that's negative.
That's right, because we can't do that. Now, here's the interesting thing. I had a conversation with a couple of school committee members. And I said, you were bamboozled. He used diversion. He blocked your vision. And you fell for it. The first thing you should have done in executive session is make a motion to terminate. Get that seconded. That's a non-debatable motion. It's not a non-debatable motion. You can debate it. Therefore, you could have discussed it through the entire executive session. But you had to vote on it. He couldn't have shut you down unless you voted on it. That's the key.
Yeah.
Once it's in play,
right.
It's in play. And that's what you need to do. And then, after you come out of executive session and you go back into open session, you ratify it. But once the motion is made and seconded, he has to vote on it. He can't just close the meeting. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the motion to adjourn was illegal because you still had half the people in there. And secondly, the people there could have rejected the motion to adjourn. A motion to adjourn is a non-debatable motion either. You have to vote on it. But that doesn't mean you have to adjourn.
One of the things that was brought up was a lot of these school committee members are very naive. Okay? They're new. They're not sure how it's going to handle it. Okay? And they may have been slightly fearful if they didn't go along with the adjournment. Or they were unfamiliar with the rules, so they went along with the adjournment. See, if it was me, I would have said, F you, Paul. We're going to go over this in open session now. But
listen to me closely, school committee. You should have picked up a copy of Robert's Rules of Order and Atwood's Rules of Order, and because they use Roberts, I believe now.
They use Roberts.
Okay, so Roberts is a standard rule. It's not like Cushing's, which is gives a little bit more latitude politically. But listen to these words. CJ knows them well because he's used them like I have numerous times in meetings. Point of order. Remember those words, CJ?
I use them frequently.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I question the chair on this motion to adjourn. We have people that are that are still speaking to the lawyer, so we should not even be in this public session. What are we in, Mr. Chairman? I question the chair. That's it. Point of order interrupts any debate. You have to answer the point of order.
That's right.
Okay? We're going to give you a little parliamentary procedure lesson. CJ used to run all kinds of meetings. I run all kinds of meetings. You have to know how to use the rules for yourself. You have to avail yourself of the opportunity. And if anybody actually knew the rules of order, Paul could never run a meeting.
That's right.
Because he never does anything right.
That's right.
In a meeting.
Technically, Paul's not even supposed to be voting. He's ex officio.
That's right.
He's only supposed to be voting in the sense of a tie.
Yeah.
If the vote is tied, then he votes. But Fall River doesn't give a shit. We do it our way. They think they're Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like nobody's going to tell me how to run my meeting. The AG, anybody else, screw you. And it's like, how in God's name can you do that? Yeah, you're right. These people have to get, you got to use every weapon you have legally. I mean, he doesn't care about the legalities.
No, he doesn't.
No, it's not an excuse. Ignorance, you're right, Michelle. Ignorance of the law is not. You go to court, you go, I didn't know I couldn't murder somebody. You're not going to get off. I'm sorry. The judge is going to say, because you didn't know that there was a law against murder, you can't get away with murder. You can't plead that. Coogan just unilaterally always didn't read any of the negative input. That's not unethical. It's illegal.
That's right.
It's illegal. The Constitution of the United States and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts clearly states that the people have a right to speak, especially to their elected officials. Nelson put in a thing. People put in a thing. CJ had a handful of citizens' inputs that were put in. Nothing. Paul's not going to read anything negative. This was the Tracy Curley pep rally, complete with endorsements from every city department by the politicians. But remember what that was. Endorsements by the politicians and the politically connected, not the people.
And by the union.
CJ can run that video again a little later and listen to what the guy said. There's a handful of teachers here. There are hundreds of teachers that are not here, that are not in favor of keeping her, probably by their acquiescence of not showing up to support her. So, the majority ruling? No, the political, the vocal minority, the politically connected are running it. Okay, because I don't want to hear this crap.
And the fact that the union president was sitting behind that gentleman, making faces like he was a 6-year-old child, was disgusting.
But he was 100% right. The union had no business.
That's right.
And I ran a union. I had a right to my own personal opinion. She's got my vote, James. She's got my vote. She's tenacious. I like her, and she's taken on the people. They're going to do everything they can to get her out of there. But you can't allow them to suppress the people, and that's what they're doing. They are living, people are living in fear here. I mean, it's true. It's a sad commentary that look at what they've done. They got it on stationary. How the audacity of that? I mean, putting it on that you can't do
I'm
that.
letterhead and all.
A president of a union, if I advocated for a mayor, if I endorsed a mayor, how can I bargain against him? Because I'm going to sell my union out.
That's right.
Look what Mike Coogan did. Mike Coogan was up Flanagan's ass. And what did he do for that? He sold the health care down the river. They were going to go into the GIC, which is a catastrophe right now. Fortunately, I went down there and saved them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Tommy Corey's, under obsequious lackey in the dictionary, there's no longer a definition. They got his picture. So, but the reality is that what did he get? He got elevated from lieutenant to chief of the department for 13 days. They jumped a whole bunch of people, civil service, everything. So he did this intentionally for his own personal gain. A union, first duty, open up Chapter 150E, the collective bargaining law, and look at what the first duty of a union is. It is to represent their membership, not politics.
You mean it's not to kiss the administration's ass?
No, you have unions make endorsements of state reps and stuff that support them and things like this, but you don't put it. You don't get involved in hiring and firing of people that you have to negotiate with. That's unethical, and it's technically an unfair labor practice. I mean, you're not supposed to be in bed with the people who you're negotiating against. Management and labor meet. It doesn't have to be adversarial. You can have mutual respect for each other, but it is fundamentally adversarial. They want to give you as little money as possible, and you want to get as much money and benefits for your union as possible. That's the way this thing is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be.
Corey supports pedophilia. Corey supports sexual harassment. Corey supports handicap beatings.
Corey supports anything that whoever's in power is going to support, because then he's going to get everybody he knows a job.
That's right.
End of story. Beginning and end of story. They're all looking for something for themselves. You don't have to look far. Just look up, pick your head up, look up at the federal government, look at people that came here from Somalia with $47, and now they're worth billions. Well, and they run daycare centers with no people in them. They got Medicare fraud, they got SNAP fraud, they got fraud, everything with our tax dollars. And Coogan's running around, like I said, this is the big thing. They're deflecting good points from some people. Well, you know what they're deflecting from? The upcoming budget. Diamond.
Oh, yes, that's a biggie. I've got something to talk about there.
There you go. Take it away.
I got something to talk about there, let me tell you. How many people saw the article from the Herald News in regards to the capital improvement plan from 2027 until 2031? And the use of CPA funds for those plans. They even put ARPA money into that. They even put ARPA money into that. ARPA money's got to be spent by September. How are they going to do it in 2027? They can't. It's got to be spent by September 2026.
Look, it's a total
$30 million. $30 million.
$7 million lights and
for
benches.
Bishop Conley.
My all-time favorites.
Okay, $30 million.
We're going to have a poll of our great guests here. If somebody said you're going to get free furniture and a free renovation.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't go there. Because guess what? The city council is going to get new furniture, new carpets, new everything for the city council office, the city clerk's office, and the chamber.
Yeah, and who's selling it to them? Yeah.
I don't know. But
Well,
let me
just
tell you
like
something. It's a lot of money.
But let me get that through that question. If they're going to give you free furniture and renovate your house for free, are you going to say, no, I'm going to use my money or my and that's what Paul did. We were going to get free benches and free lights from the state like the rest of the state did. Nobody else spent opera money on lights and benches for the MBTA. The MBTA puts the benches and the lights in. No, Paul had to do it for his pals.
That's right.
We have to have the best lights in the state.
Of
We
course.
have to have the best everything and screw the taxpayer. He didn't spend one dime and it benefited the average citizen in Fall River. So that's the choice that he made, because that's the choice they always make. They don't care. Never did, never will. How this guy has gotten 4 terms, like I said, it's an indictment to the voters of Fall River that they let this guy stay in office, because this city, I have never seen it so corrupt. I've seen a lot of corrupt crap in my time, believe me. I've seen a lot of corruption in city government. I've seen a lot of things done, and so has CJ. We've seen a lot of backdoor deals and a lot of stuff that's gone on. I have never seen it to this extent. I mean, people call me that are absolutely petrified. They call CJ. The first thing out of their mouth is, "I'm going to tell you this, but please, please, please don't tell them who."
Don't say my name.
Don't say my name, please, please, please. I'll get fired. I'll get this. I'll get that. And that guy in that video said it very clearly. Now it's already gotten to Attleboro. The guys from Attleboro saying, I got all kinds of people calling me because they're scared. Or as Fall River likes to say, scared.
Scared. I'm a scared.
Oh, you know, yeah, it's. I mean, the level of corruption is incredible, and it's blatant. But you know how they cover up the corruption? With the seal clapping, like Tommy Corey. She wonderful, she's wonderful. She won the Durfee, she won the. You know how many people got screwed at Durfee? You know how many people didn't get the recognition they should have got, or didn't get, what they should have gotten because they didn't fit at Durfee High School? The hilltopper shit. No, that's bullshit. I can tell you story after story after story of people who did far more than the people who did what they supposedly the icons got into the Durfee Hall of Fame. There were athletes that did more than half of the people in there, have set records that will never be broken, and are not in the Durfee Hall of Fame. Why? They weren't. Their name wasn't. They didn't have the right name. They weren't connected to the right people.
They were Portuguese.
It was always like this. Never as bad as it is today, without a doubt. I mean, look, there's always been that in Fall River. But the fact is, I've never seen it to the extent, and that guy was right. CJ, we should run that video one more time for a couple of people that came in late. That's only a couple of minutes, right? That video?
It's 3 minutes.
Yeah, run that thing again for everybody so we can listen to this guy really carefully.
Okay. Bring it up.
My name is Joey Ford. I'm from Attleboro. I'm the founder and leader of Parent Data Force, an independent educational watchdog and reform initiative focused on systemic noncompliance, transparency, and accountability. I help families, staff, and community members document concerns, organize evidence, and navigate the proper channels when a district's internal processes are no longer working. I'm not here for politics, and I'm not here to inflame anything. I come when I start hearing the same message from multiple people who don't even know each other. That the climate has become so tense, people feel that they can't speak openly without consequences. That is what I've been hearing about Fall River. There are over 850 teachers in the Fall River, and only an insignificant minority have chosen to come here tonight. Over the past several days, multiple people connected to this district have reached out to me.
Did you hear that? Insignificant minority came out to be heard. Insignificant minority.
Privately, parents, staff, and community members. A consistent theme is fear. Fear of retaliation, fear of being targeted, fear of professional consequences.
What's the big thing? Fear. Fear in the school system.
Regardless of anyone's position on leadership, a public school system should never become a place where people feel unsafe telling the truth. Now, I want to address one specific concern that brought me here tonight. I've seen advocacy materials connected to the superintendent situation that appear to use the district's official logo. I'm being careful. I'm not making a legal accusation tonight, but this is inappropriate on its face and raises serious ethical questions. When the public sees the official logo, it looks like the district is endorsing a message. Public symbols shouldn't be used in ways that undermine trust. And let me say this plainly. It is very inappropriate for a teachers' union to endorse a superintendent at all. Regardless of personal feelings, that's a conflict of interest. A union's role is to advocate for teachers, not campaign for district leadership. And from what I'm hearing, the silent majority does not support the union's position here. They are just scared to say it.
Again, the silent majority does not support. They are
also the endorsement on stationery with the logo, and now Linda Pereira wants the city council to put it on a council to interfere with another political body. How ridiculous is that?
I'm not going through every issue tonight. That would be irresponsible without full documentation. But if people are reaching out to outsiders because they feel that they can't speak inside the district, something is wrong. Parent Data Force helps people document and route concerns, whether through internal processes, public records, or state complaints. The goal is accountability, not drama. If you have information but feel you can't speak publicly or have evidence, you can find Parent Data Force on Facebook. Message me privately. This also includes any and all special education concerns. This is my first time here, but I will be back, and I'll follow the record where it leads. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And again, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Paul couldn't get him out of there fast enough. It was like his ass was on fire.
They lit a fire up on his ass. That's right.
That's right. But listen to, this is true. And now they're so blatant now that they got another political forever insider, Linda, now trying to make this the city council interfering. I don't care whether she agrees or disagrees with what they're doing in the school committee. They're elected to do what they do.
She's entitled to her opinion. As
I said, it's in the parameter. They got it in their contract. They could make that motion. It was a legal motion. It was seconded, and you can dislike it personally. You can't put it on stationery. The city of Fall River and its elected officials are now speaking. Linda Pereira wants the school committee, the city council, who speaks for the people of Fall River. They are elected to say that we support it. And I'm saying right there, I don't support it. Okay? Is that clear enough? No. You're not going to say that the city council, you want to say you support it? Go ahead, personally.
Put it on your own personal letterhead.
Speaking for the 90,000 people of frickin' Fall River on this issue. So this is bullshit, okay? This is dictatorship in action. This is what you say. Everything they accuse Trump of, this is exactly what it looks like. This is like Iran and North Korea. Paul Coogan doesn't read anything that's against them. Well, you know what we should have done at the end of that video? You and I should have done our imitation of Tommy Corey.
No, get it right. This is how Tommy Corey does it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. There are no leaders anymore. And for the union, and the guy was right. For the union guy, union can't do that. They're right back now. They're going to go negotiate a contract with her. That's not a conflict of interest. Oh, we're going to kiss your ass. Give us a good contract. I don't know where the hell that's coming from. Yeah, yeah. I've been on a mission my whole life. These people I'm telling you, we got to get people to the polls. I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's pretty sad. You got oatmeal. He's making oatmeal brain look like it. The only thing is, Biden had an excuse. He didn't even know what planet he was on half the time. Coogan is doing this stuff intentionally.
Like negotiating contracts with his brother.
Yeah, he is not doing this because he doesn't know any better. He's doing it because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's taking care of his friends.
Right.
No, you're right. And that's illegal. As I said, read Chapter 150E, the collective bargaining law of the state of Massachusetts. The first duty of a union is to represent its membership. And as that guy so eloquently pointed out in that video, there was what? 15, 20 teachers there. There's 850 of them. Where's the other 820? I guess they didn't want Curly that much, did they?
Guess not.
Yeah, well, Josh, you're giving him calling him a clown. I got a better adjective, but I can't say it on the air.
Well, I want to thank you all for watching and your participation. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Set your clocks ahead 1 hour tomorrow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.